Good morning, everyone. I know that we have a little bit of concern surrounding this weekend's forecast, so let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So, what we're looking at right now is our outlook from Wednesday into our weather event on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, we're expecting rain chances to start in for Wednesday, and these are going to continue throughout most of the day, picks up and gets a little heavy as we get to the 4 o'clock hour. And then as we go through the rest of the night into Thursday, things remain pretty dry for Thursday. We may see some fringe showers every now and again, but we aren't anticipating heavy chances of showers or anything of that nature until we get to Friday evening. You'll notice most of Thursday and Friday overcast conditions, but still dry. Once we get to the late night hours, this is 9:30, picking it up here on our hour by hour, we start to see the first showers of snow moving into our western communities over around Florence, Lauderdale County, things of that nature, Phil Campbell as well. But as we go into Saturday morning, 9 o'clock is where most of us will see that snow accumulated that morning. Right now, models have us with a decent snowfall, a couple inches at best. I think previously it was saying anywhere between 8 to 12, and that was still kind of very unknown at the point in time. And so now it's kind of traced it back to about 5 or 6, and we're still working out the timeline and how much precipitation we'll get. So as we look to the Saturday afternoon, our concern lies in the pink here. That usually indicates anything winter precipitation based that is not snow. And so that means you could have freezing rain, you could have sleet, and those are main products to create icy roadways for us. And again, that's where the big concern is. And you can see most of the Tennessee Valley is within that pink boundary there. And if you look farther south, past Birmingham, that's where we start to see that warm nose peeking in, and that's just our standard rain. However, due to the conditions of what we already would have going on by 9:30 on Saturday, that rain could come up here, and it could be regular showers, not winter precipitation, but because we still have ice and cooling conditions, we could deal with a refreeze as well. So I'll show you that. I'll show you the way that the nose is planning to move in a moment. But our biggest concern is the fact that we will have this potential of sleet, freezing rain, and that, again, could create that ice for us. And with ice storms, it's a little concerning, seeing as not only are roadways an issue, but it could also be an issue for some of our power lines. I believe, actually, I think I may have reposted it, but definitely check out Brad's Facebook page. He has a full rundown of different categories of what to expect from an ice storm, if it's a level 1 or a level 5, and you can go through there and we'll definitely be able to pick it out a little sooner. Once we get to the evening hours of today and into Wednesday, we may be able to shape some things up and figure out where we land on that scale there. But of course, just for your knowledge, making sure you are aware. And I also think we have a good couple of floaters around about some things you should do in ice storms. So of course, if you have any questions, concerns, always email news@waff.com, or you can also message me on Facebook, message Brad on Facebook. We'll be here to answer questions and leave comments here for sure. I know this is a little concerning. So looking through the rest of Saturday evening into our Sunday, I know some folks would have church plans if Max would catch up. So we'll see those rain chances peek through some of the snow. And this is that warm nose, again, that I was talking about. We'll see that kind of peek through as we go into our Sunday morning. So Sunday morning will start with some rain. If you have any church plans, it may be tough to get out the door because we could very well still have ice on the road by that point. And then, like I mentioned, this extra rain could also create another a thinner layer on top of the ice that we have. And then by Sunday night, we're dealing with refreeze. So we may possibly incur these weather days where this event is occurring from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we could also see these issues trickle down into our Monday or Tuesday mornings as you may get ready for work, get ready to send the kids back to school. So we're going to watch this as best as possible because this could have some lingering effects on the city for about a day or so, maybe at absolute worst 3 or 4 as of right now. But of course, we are doing our absolute best to nail things down as it comes in. So with that being said, you want to make sure you have your WAFF 48 weather app on hand as well. You'll notice a lot of that moves out Saturday evening or Sunday evening as well. So it's just going to leave us, our temperatures aren't cool enough or warm enough to melt anything. We're just going to deal with a refreeze going into Monday potentially, and could even go into Tuesday if we are unable to resolve that from the city standpoint. So, I'll check comments real fast, just because we're gonna get back into the forecast for today. So, so to answer the question, if we're getting snow or ice, snow first, and then it could ice over with that chance. The pink is the freezing rain, sleet that we could get. So then that's where the ice would fall in. So both to answer your question succinctly, but snow first, and then we'll get other kinds of winter precipitation that could lead to ice. So, yes, absolutely be prepared for this weekend. Susan has a good point, making sure that you will be prepared. Yes, absolutely. What time Friday? This will be Friday evening, late around 9:30. That our western communities, Florence, stretching down to Moulton, Phil Campbell, those areas will start to see that snow on the earlier front than we would here in Huntsville. For Huntsville, it would probably be those overnight hours as we get closer to 10:30, 11, even midnight before we start to see the heaviest chance of it. So maybe if your kids would like to stay up a little bit or wake up a little early Saturday, it'll be safe, of course, to play in the snow, but we start to deal with freezing rain getting back into the forecast that afternoon. So plan accordingly with any kind of plans you have. You may want to push them to another weekend. So if everyone's ready, how sure are we that it's turning to rain Sunday morning? So that's coming out of a warmer area. So we have a warm front moving in by that point. So that's why it's showing that rain on top of where we've already had that freezing rain, sleet mix. So that's the demarcation there. Could warm up by that point, but it would still, in a way, leave us with another chance of refreezing with ice. So no problem, of course. The cab will also see snow first, then they'll also get some of that freezing rain later Saturday afternoon and evening. So, of course, you can tune in to TVL and then also our noon show indefinitely tonight. We should be back on track after yesterday. I know we had some doubleheader NFL, NBA things going on. So we should be back on track with our shows tonight, and Brad will definitely give some updates as we go into the afternoon and evening. A lot of things tend to change in the afternoon when it's a little bit of a changing of the guards for us. So me and Brad usually meet together, and he'll see something that has come up in the time that I have just wrapped. And so he's like, oh, I have to change this and make sure you're looking at this. And I'm like, this didn't look like that. So things will kind of change as we go through this weekend. Right now, it seems pretty solid on the snow first, and then we deal with sleet and freezing rain afterwards. So jumping into the rest of today, because I only have a few minutes to share with you guys. Highs for today in the low and 40s. We're also seeing those 30s getting back into the forecast. And this is kind of also how we're playing into that snow sticking around longer than anticipated. You can see our overnight temperatures below freezing in those 20s, well below freezing. So that's what's getting us to that point of keeping a lot of those temperatures, keeping a lot of that ice, snow in the mix for us in the forecast, because our lows are providing it overnight, that our grounds are able to not freeze, but get to a low state of what snow likes when it wants to stick. So looking at the rest of this week, like I mentioned, 3 first alert weather days that will kind of be exacerbated by Wednesday and Thursday's showers. And as we get into Friday late evening, for those that are just joining us, right around 9:30 Friday night is what we're looking at right now for our first alert weather day to officially start, when we'll start to see those snow flurries moving in. It'll be snow first, then we'll see a wintry mix of precipitation from that point. Could be freezing rain or sleet, and we're just still trying to figure out what that may look like for us, and we may be able to nail that down a little better later tonight. So back into this weekend, though, you'll notice that Saturday overnight into Sunday, and then Sunday overnight to Monday. Teens, that again playing into that freezing rain, and then the warm nose producing our regular rain, if you could say that, regular precipitation. Then that kind of adds into that refreeze overnight. So that's the concern with the ice. That's the biggest concern right now. And of course, we are tracking as much as possible, and we're telling you everything as we get it. So with that being said, going into next Monday and Tuesday, we won't really warm up until Tuesday. So that may kind of pose a threat to keeping that ice around a little longer than anticipated as well. So could see Monday and Tuesday being days that would be a little tough on the students to get to school, for folks to commute to their job. So just keep your eye on our Facebooks, right here on Weather Extra. You can always watch, of course, 48 or channel, wherever you watch us, on TV, via phone, wherever that may be. We will continue to keep this going and keep these updates as fresh as possible. So with that being said, I hope you will tune in to the rest of our shows tonight. We've got a noon show, TVL. We also have our afternoon and our late night show. So make sure you tune into those to get all you can get to be up to date on the forecast with the ice storm. And of course, I want you guys to be as safe as possible. So I hope you have a great rest of your week. I'll be back here Friday forecasting everything out with Eric, Jeff, and Brad. So hope you have a great rest of your day.